and I guess we could just end the year now because Notre Dame's out of the playoffs, so there really is nothing to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what we're gonna watch. I mean,
I don't know what is there any. There's nothing really to talk about, right? Because that great ACC member Notre Dame is, that's what that's all we care about. The best partner the ACC could ever have, Notre Dame. Like, now that Notre Dame's been left out, I mean, what would we ever even be? What is the need? Or there's nothing really, why
are we even playing the games? I mean, there's just no point.
Pungent and just in your, like when it stinks and it's pee that's been on the ground for like an hour and it's just pungent up in your face. That's what you can taste it. I'm not happy about it. I mean, I know all of you are probably celebrating my misery, and that's fine. If as Miami fans, you get a free pass in, totally understand it. You didn't earn it. I mean, how's it feel to get a handout? I mean, and then there's, alpha asshole. I mean, Buckeye. Notre Dame should have to join a conference. Okay. Why? Please let me know. You're the alpha. I'm the beta. You're alpha Buckeye.
Yeah. Can you learn us, please?
Somebody. Okay. Is this what today's going to be? And I'm okay with that because I'm here for it. Knives Out, right? Like a great movie, a pretty average movie, but I'm here for it because the idea that Notre Dame has to join a conference, why? Was it so if they were in the ACC, you think we'd be? That doesn't help them to play. They played an ACC schedule. Did they get in? No, they didn't. By the way, did the champ of the ACC get in? Oh, that's right. No, they didn't. So joining. Now, I know I don't know math. 7 + 64 = 3. I get it. But you tell me, if Notre Dame, and here's where rocket science comes in, maybe don't lose the only 2 games of the year that matter to you, and you'd be, I know, how about this? Maybe win one of those 2 games. And I know, crazy, you'd be in. You'd be in. You'd be Oregon. You'd be in.
Well, here's the lesson right here, okay? Here, we're getting learned by Alpha Buckeye. Joining a conference means there are only 2 hard games, won't be at the beginning of the season. They played nobody the last 10 weeks and have no conference title game.
Right, but are you telling me Indiana played anybody? Are you telling me this is the argument I don't understand. Now, I don't know how you're going to move the goalpost to win the argument from here, but if you want to move the goalpost, bruh, I'm here for it. You can't make this argument about Notre Dame and then be like, well, they didn't play anybody, Monty. Okay, did Miami play anyone? Are you out of your mind? Do you believe that whose schedule is this? Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State, Illinois, Iowa, Oregon. There's one. Michigan State, UCLA, Maryland, Penn State, Wisco, Purdue, and the conference championship game. So take out the conference championship game. You played Oregon and won. We played, and the Texas A&M game sticks in my craw. I'll be honest with you. Okay, it sticks in my craw because there were 3 calls in that game that would have stopped Texas A&M from scoring touchdowns in that game, but they were not like the obvious one that's in the middle of the field, the pass interference where our wide receiver is pulled down on the sideline. Yeah, if you call that, that's a touchdown. But no, but you're telling me that your one win, if we'd have beaten Texas A&M at the stadium, we're not having this conversation. And furthermore, the problem that this has created is now we get to look at Notre Dame, and I say to you, okay, well, don't lose to a pretty mid-level team like Miami, because that's the other thing that's getting lost in the wash here. Miami and Notre Dame, you're trying to judge Notre Dame on something that happened Do you guys remember the date of that game? August 31st. You're trying to judge somebody for something that happened 3.5 months ago. Is your football team the same team? And I think Ohio State's the best team in the country. What we saw against Indiana, I think Ohio State's the best team in the country. Are they the same team they were 3.5 months ago? No, they're not. Sorry, they're not. And neither is Notre Dame.
And by the way, this conference championship game argument, I think is very convenient today. I thought that the outcomes of conference championship games didn't matter. I thought we weren't rewarding or penalizing teams based on the result of a conference championship game. Right? We had all agreed upon that last week, right? That the conference championship game wasn't to be taken into consideration.
But this is the Bama argument. There are so many people who are like, Bama should be out. No, Bama should not be out. Bama should not be out. Listen, if we're going to have this argument about Notre Dame and Miami, where's BYU in the argument? How does BYU have no place in the argument? You're telling me that BYU has no place whatsoever in the conversation about who's in and who's out? They legitimately, they were not even discussed on ESPN until after. They were not even discussed. It's wild to me that we have a committee, and my gripe with Notre Dame is you punished Notre Dame and rewarded Miami, and they had not played a game. It's what you've heard all weekend. It's complete and utter garbage. Because
of what BYU didn't do against Tech. Because that was the thing. Everyone's leaving that out. Everyone stops at the Miami point. But Juracek said, hey, it's because BYU got soundly beaten again. So the reason the head-to-head came into play was because we had to drop them. So you're holding a team out because BYU lost again, which we all knew was going to happen anyway?
In a game that shouldn't have any weight on the college football
playoff. And again, champ games aren't supposed to matter, I thought. Champ games aren't supposed to matter. So what do you mean you dropped BYU two spots in the rankings because of what happened in the championship game?
So you're telling me wrong. If BYU had a better showing or won that game,
Miami would have been out, BYU and Notre Dame would have been in, and we all ride off into the sunset.
I think it's embarrassing.
So miss me with, two G6 teams got in. How could that happen, Morty?
Monty, those Catholics need to be in a conference, fat ass. No, being in a conference has nothing to do with this.
Saying that, well, you should just join a conference is a peasant argument today. That is a not well thought out, no depth, surface level argument. That's what everyone always says with Notre Dame. It's what everyone said about BYU for years, bro. And the issue really comes down to losing football games. Let's just be real. If you had won football games, BYU, Notre Dame, right? If you had won football games, you would be in. But you lost 2 games that you can't lose for a variety of different reasons. That ultimately is what BYU fan and Notre Dame fan need to grapple with today. Because again, and you've been saying it all season, I'll give you flowers today. You've been saying it all season. Can't lose A&M, right? Can't lose to Miami. Hey, bro, you want a ticket or you want to make the hit at the goal line there? Like you can't do that. So I understand Notre Dame fans who are frustrated with the no calls against A&M. Totally get it.
But if that's what's an example of this? SMU getting in instead of BYU last year.
Ridiculous.
SMU loses the ACC championship game and gets in over BYU, who went to Dallas, check the front of the SMU uniform, and beat SMU. It's Preston Stone's cock, that game where Oak State James destroyed his life.
His cock.
SMU got in, BYU did not. Now this year, head-to-head matters. Miami's in, Notre Dame's not. And BYU can't even be on the graphics. So, here's the truth. If you just analytically look at these teams, and this is probably going to hurt a lot of people's feelings. Do I think BYU, after what I saw, should be in the college football playoff? No. No, I don't. I don't believe that I don't believe, such as in like in the Iraq, I don't believe that BYU is one of the 10 best teams in the country. I don't. And I think when you look at this bracket, if you put BYU where Miami is, BYU's out. BYU would lose in the first round to Texas A&M. And BYU shouldn't even get off the bus against Ohio State. Do I believe that Notre Dame would beat Texas A&M? Yes, I think Notre Dame would beat Texas A&M. CJ Carr is a significantly better quarterback. Do I think that Notre Dame belongs in? Forget the criteria of the college football playoff. Forget the criteria. No, I don't believe that Notre Dame belongs in. Yeah, if we're keeping it a buck right now, you lost the only 2 games that matter of the year, in my opinion. But the problem is your fucking criteria says that BYU and Notre Dame should be in the conversation and Notre Dame should be in and Miami should be at home.
Because it's garbage.
And frankly, Miami and Notre Dame should be at home and BYU should be in. That's what your criteria says. Now, do I hate that Miami's in? No. Do I think Miami is inferior? No. Is Notre Dame significantly better than Miami? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But the way that this was done, week in and week out, Notre Dame should be in and Miami should be at home. Alabama, you guys stop with, and I don't know, I haven't seen the comment section yet today, but if you're the guy that's like, well, Alabama shouldn't be in, Marty, I don't know what level of football you watch. I watched pretty much every minute of Alabama football pretty much all season long. That's one of the 10 best teams in the country.
I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide, baby.
That's one of the 10 best teams in the country. And when you want to start looking at resume, I dare you to go find 9 other teams that have a better resume than Bama. That's a team that's 10-3 and 7-1. And I would remind you, they have one of the worst losses in the country to Florida. That was this season. Am I the only one who feels like Bama losing to Florida State was like 5 years ago? It's bizarre. Anyway, their wins, and I think one of the best wins in the country, nobody wants to talk about it. They went to Athens and beat Georgia. They beat, they beat at Georgia, Vandy, at Missouri, Tennessee. Did I mention that those were 4 straight weeks? Did I mention that their losses are a really bad Florida State team? Terrible loss. Number 11, Oklahoma. So Oklahoma's in the college football playoff. That's right. And that came down to 1 play in that game. They belong in. Now, again, you guys, everybody on Twitter was like, oh, Monty, they look terrible. They shouldn't be in. The conference championship doesn't keep them in or knock them out.
Only it does if you're BYU. Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. While we're raging, why are we putting Tulane and James Madison in? And I know, Jake, you effing millennials like, dude, where's my participation trophy, Dad?
No, I want the BYU in the college football playoff, bro.
Well, Jake.
Yeah, let's go. I want it. I'm here for it.
You knock it off.
I want it right here,
the
bro.
Mormons,
Ole Miss versus BYU.
The Mormons have had enough abuse.
So let me get this right. The 11-6 matchup.
Who are not, remember, the Mormons who are not Christian don't have Christ to fall back on. If I hear that one more time.
Well, Monty, the non-Christians didn't get in. What the hell?
It's either, never mind. The fact that Jake Retzloff is in and BYU is out hurts.
Listen,
the
11-6
BYU fan
is, dude, bro who just tried to get some and got bounced from his school versus squad that lost their head coach in one of the most dramatic fashions this season. It doesn't get much better. Doesn't get much better.
Yeah. Let's see. Big Pontiff, Brandon Butler. Ho ho.
Oh, nice beard.
I'm just pissed because it seems hypocritical to keep Bama in and then keep BYU out using the same reasoning, but it's not the same reasoning. You look at the schedule that Alabama played and their wins and their losses, right? The conference championship game, if we're going to follow, say it with me, the criteria.
Here, Monty, let me put the criteria on the screen here, Monty.
Right?
Here's the criteria.
If this is what we're going to do, and we're going to say, okay, we're not going to penalize people for playing in their conference championship game, it's really difficult to look at Alabama by this stuff over here.
This criteria
right here, and be like, no, they should go home. Nah, I don't think so, bud. They are one of the 10 best teams in the country. I can say that with all certainty, right? With all certainty. Pete Forte, who's been a member for 25.
Hey, Pete.
Good afternoon. No way the ACC was being left out. This is an interesting argument. Is Miami only in not because of the
criteria, such as in like the Iraq,
but because U.S. Americans didn't want to eliminate the ACC? Is Miami only in because the college football playoff was not going to leave the ACC on the outside looking in?
U.S. Americans.
It's an interesting question. Maury Alvarez, who's been a member for 35 months.
Yeah.
BYU and Notre Dame are out because the ACC needed a rep in the college football playoff. Here we go.
By the way, Duke and Virginia was incredibly entertaining. Just want to point that out, bro.
How bad was that football?
Bro, just want to point that out, dude.
Because it's garbage.
Oh, okay. We have to talk about buying clothes online before the show's over. Anyway, this is what happens when people are texting you and you happen to get a glance at your email.
The playoff committee changes I don't know what this word is here, criteria. It changes the criteria.
Hey,
they change the criteria to whatever fits their BS narrative. I'm pissed off BYU's not in. Screw the CFP.
Brandon, the funny thing is I can hear it in your voice. Yeah, the playoff committee changes the criteria to fit whatever the fucking narrative is. Bunch of jerks.
But they don't want cougar tails? What's their problem?
But they're sitting over there drinking water ice.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. Rock and rant. No, Rock. I'm happy for you, dude. I'm happy for you. I appreciate you you gifting a Monty Show membership. I'm happy for you, dude. It truly is not a thing. I hope college football is better when Miami's good. I hope Miami wins games. I think when you look at the bracket and you start to understand the criteria,
You're last.
Miami can beat Texas A&M because you have to be really, really good up front. You have to be very physical. You have to be very active. And Bain is one of the best defensive linemen in the country. And while we're talking about the criteria of things, he won't get much run for the criteria of Heisman Trophy. He should, because the guy's an absolute stub. And even though Pavia's mom is going to get a Heisman Trophy nod, Bain should be in the conversation. The guy is fantastic. So happy for you guys, dude. Big Blue Horses for $5. How funny is it that Billy Napier already got a job? He was just not good for the Gators. And he already got a job. Is Notre Dame overplaying their hand? With 9 conference games each year, what happens if no one schedules them? Bullying ACC and others doesn't seem like a good plan. The problem is
they are scheduling Notre Dame.
You can't not schedule Notre Dame. And the issue is, if Notre Dame is one of the 12 best teams in the country in the rankings, and I would remind you guys, and if you didn't see it, Bavakwa. Today was not a good day for my fandom, and it's fine. I'll cry over here, and it's fine. Here's Notre Dame's football schedule for the next 3 years, because that's really what matters. 2026, we're going undefeated. Not with Marcus as your head coach. You're not. I probably should stop being irrational. Wisconsin at Lambeau Field, Rice, Michigan State, Purdue, North Carolina, Navy in Foxborough, Miami at the stadium, Boston College, SMU, Stanford, Syracuse, USC to end the season. 2027, Purdue at Michigan State, Auburn, Georgia Tech, Wake Forest, Virginia Tech at Clemson, Navy at Duke. 2028, Texas, Arkansas. Is that 2 SEC teams? At Purdue, at Auburn, at Virginia Tech, Clemson, at Navy, Boston College, Miami, at Pitt. Like, their schedule's locked up. They have a strong schedule for a long time. So it's going to be, I understand what you're saying, but if you're Notre Dame, first of all, you're not joining the ACC. And second of all, there's just no need. They have a TV contract. And I understand this irrational hate of Notre Dame. I totally get it. And I understand why everybody wants to talk about it. But you just begin to understand. You just begin to understand. Guys like Paul Feinbaum, somebody needs to hit him in the back of the head with a boat oar.
One other thing, though, Notre Dame makes all that money off that NBC contract. But does anybody watch these games? No. On the week of their biggest game of the year against Southern Cal, I think, if I have this correctly, they lost in the ratings to LSU and Vanderbilt on ABC. The problem is Notre Dame is just not, I mean, they think they're great, but they're not. They're not the draw they used to be. And that has nothing to do with the playoffs, Stephen A. It just has to do with the fact that their brand, as good as they think they aren't as big as the SEC brand or even the Big Ten brand.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Let me get this right. Notre Dame this year averaged 4 million views per game, with their peak being the Canes at 11 million views, 11 million viewers. Nobody watches their games. So
what kind of criteria is this?
Criteria in a year where we didn't play anybody after week 2. Miami, huge matchup. Texas A&M, huge matchup. Your mom's house. Like, we played nobody. Right? Again, see the criteria. Never mind.
Look at me.
We averaged 4 million views week by week and 11 million against Miami. Yeah.
I'm for real.
Nobody watches. So let me get to, we drew as many fans as the Big 12's biggest matchup. Nobody watches us against.
Yeah, I mean, their brand isn't as big as they think it is.
We quite literally played the assembly line workers at the Thin Mint factory, and 4 million people watched.
What's up, big bro?
It's the most random thing that came to my mind because I'm fat.
Thin Mint factory.
It's just funny to me that people are like, you got to join a conference, Monty. No, you know what? No, we don't. No, we don't. And then I don't even know what to say. Here's our athletic director.
We were mystified by the actions of the conference to attack, their biggest really business partner in football and a member of their conference in 24 of our other sports. And I would tell you, Dan, I wouldn't be honest with you if I didn't say that they have certainly done permanent damage to the relationship between the conference and Notre Dame.
What do you mean?
Just we didn't appreciate the fact that we were singled out repeatedly and compared to Miami. Not by Miami. Miami has every right to do that. But it raised a lot of eyebrows here that the conference was taking shots at us. And that's just not something we chose to do. We wouldn't choose to do that in the future, and people might disagree with us, but that's just not something that we'd be comfortable with.
First of all, how big is dude's brain? I mean, he is the definition of looking like an academic.
Peter,
Monty,
Petey.
Morty. That's
First of all,
Mr.
thank you.
Bavakwa to you.
Mr. Bavakwa. Thank you.
Facial recognition.
Yeah, seriously, because he's invisible every other week of the year. Prick. Yeah, you might want to tune up. You might want to tune up the hoop. It's this one, not this one. It's this one.
Yeah.
I agree with him, and I'm not a big fan of Pete's. Peter Bavakwa is a guy that.
The combo.
You're such a jerk. Oh my God. I'm having an existential football crisis over here. And you're like, hey, bro, Bacabo.
The combo.
You love this so much because you don't have fandom. You're like, dude, bro,
Notre Dame, our mother.
Bacabo. Because you don't have fandom. So you can laugh while I cry.
Well,
right?
that's the issue, isn't it?
That was so funny. Oh, and I don't like complimenting you because it goes straight to your head, which is really small anyways. But I just
It's not as big as Buddy's. I can tell you that right
now. Look, you just called yourself a small head guy. Yeah, who knew? Your mom.
Biologics.
And then there's Mike Hill. And I warn you, there's some cursory language in here and stuff, but enjoy your water ice while you listen to Mike Hill rage about Notre Dame.
Hearing all these experts come on here, some of them my colleagues, former colleagues, some I respect, some I don't, talking about the whole Notre Dame bowl situation and calling them out and basically saying it's cowardly and they're stopping fans from getting one last opportunity to see this team in a bowl game and how it's affecting the seniors and stopping them from having their final moment in a Notre Dame uniform and throwing out all these terms and all these words and all this criticism about this team who is disappointed, which I understand disappointment happens in life and you got to deal with disappointment. And this is a lesson in disappointment and how to overcome things like that. But what you have not asked yourself is why they made this decision. Did they have a team meeting and decide beforehand that if they did not make the college football playoffs, which was a possibility, that they weren't going to accept a bowl bid to the Pop-Tart Bowl? Do you remember who the fuck played in the Pop-Tart Bowl last year? No, you don't. So before you go out here and start bloviating, throwing all these different terms out here to describe this team, which is severely disappointed, which I understand why, think about it and ask yourself, did the team make this decision? Did the administration make this decision? Did Coach Freeman make this decision? Or are you just assuming that you know why they made this decision? You don't. So sometimes you just need to shut the fuck up.
Thank you.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Mike!
Mike!
Thank you, Mike!
Like, yes. Yes, Michael. Yes. STFUFOH.
Something like that.
What the cool kids do. Yes. Did Notre Dame make a mistake opting out of a bowl game? Well, as a fan, I would not have been paying attention. That's just me. Should Notre Dame have to play in a bowl game? No. Do I wish they had? Yeah. You know why? Because I'm selfish. I want the incoming freshmen to early enroll and get 18 extra practices. Well, that's not going to happen now. That's what I'm upset about, the development time. But I can tell you, they got together as a group. Bavakwa and stupid can't count past 12. And I'm so bitter. Marcus Freeman, Bavakwa, their general manager, and the captains. And then they had a team meeting. And I genuinely think they were devastated. Absolutely devastated that they had no idea they were going to get left out. I think that's why you're
you
saying,
think that was on their radar at all?
No, I think they are, and I could be wrong, but I know a few people, and I think they are absolutely devastated that they're on the outside looking in. I think they had no idea that they were on the outside looking in. I think none whatsoever. They had no idea.
Well, the thing
They are stunned to be on the outside looking in.
Yeah, I mean, what bothered me the most was just the reasoning behind Miami bumping ahead of Notre Dame. That's what annoyed me. Obviously, I can't sit here and claim to be a hardcore Notre Dame fan or Miami fan, but really, like, when you look at the criteria, saying that because BYU lost the way they did and you had to drop them to put Miami ahead on the head-to-head matchup, that's crazy to me. I mean, if you were and he also said that they hadn't considered the head-to-head matchup for several weeks because they weren't right next to each other, which again, to me, just that on its face is an issue, because if you're going to consider it, then you should have been considering it for a while now. Like, if that was your take a month ago, you should have said, yeah, well, listen, Miami right now is ahead of you guys because they beat you in the head-to-head, but if you go ahead and win, or like, if that was going to be the take, why was that not the take at the beginning of the year? That's what I don't get.
Yeah, I think meaningless bowl games are I just don't think there's any reason for them to. You better get ready for the fact that the Jimmy's Shoelace Eyelet Bowl is going away. Nobody wants to play that game. Nobody's interested. Notre Dame's not interested. Nobody's interested. And I understand why teams, and this is going to sound incredibly arrogant, I'm just warning you, when you don't play games of leverage, you don't understand how devastating it is to feel wronged and have, rightly or wrongly, have a belief system that you got absolutely screwed. See Florida State, right? Like, it's the same, different mechanism, but the same feeling of devastation and loss. And I think it's awfully difficult to get your guys to go play the Flippin' Pop-Tarts Bowl after that feeling. And Notre Dame does not do anything willy-nilly. This was not just some knee-jerk reaction. Well, screw them, we're not going to play a bowl. That's not how it was done. So, was Miami let in for the sake, the ACC sake after Duke won? I don't think so. I think Miami's a good football team. I'm not here to slight Miami. I think Miami.
That's not what they said. The reasoning was BYU got boat raced again, which dropped them in the rankings, which then put Miami and Notre Dame next to each other, which then brought in the head-to-head.
Correct.
That's their reason. So whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that's the publicly stated reason. So that's what we're going with. So I mean, I just think it's. Listen, I think that this is why the CFP process is so good, because we have all this to talk about. At the same time, I think that it's hard. Like in football, like you don't play 70 games, you don't play 30 games, right?
That's right.
Chances. So you get 11 chances. So like, to me, it's if anything, the conversation really for Notre Dame should be, well, how can we schedule more heavy hitters? How can we, schedule more heavy hitters, make it more no doubt about it, right? And I think that for Notre Dame is what you have to talk about. I'm in agreement that the conference thing is just a silly argument. There's no need for them to schedule them. Notre Dame is a quality opponent. So whether you win or lose that game, you have a case to make in a positive fashion for an opposing team playing Notre Dame, which I think really helps them. And I think ultimately, if you're BYU in this whole, scenario, again, we argued about this a little last week, but you better be right about Bear Bachmeier, man. I was not here for he rolled up his ankle.
Yeah.
I get it. He rolled his ankle. They had to tape his ankle. He couldn't run as much. But let's not sit here and pretend that this guy is RG3 run level on the football field. He can run some RPO. He can get you 7-8 yards when he needs to. But that's not that's not how he's going to go and win a ball game, man.
Yeah. Notre Dame took their ball and went home, sad face. Yeah, you're not wrong. And we'll talk a lot more about BYU here in just a second. TCU James, I want Notre Dame in the Big Ten because I want to see them play USC, Nebraska every year. Those would be fun games to watch. Yeah. Okay. I'd worry about TCU more than I'd worry about Notre Dame. Big Pontiff. It was just a matter of time before teams started skipping meaningless bowl games. The star players have been doing it for years. They have. And it takes somebody, and I think largely us Notre Dame fans, not like you, Jake, but us Notre Dame fans.
Right.
I think heavy is the head that wears the crown. And Notre Dame is always going to have a lot of attention. Does that mean that Notre Dame does everything right? Certainly not. Does that mean that Notre Dame's the best team in the country? Clearly not. But Notre Dame, whether you want to like Notre Dame or not, or agree with Notre Dame is one of the most prominent, affluent, attention-drawing universities in all of college athletics. When Notre Dame talks, you're going to listen. And so they talk this time and people don't like it. And I understand the criteria. You keep going to those 4 games. Let's look at a recent form. One close win versus a mid-Auburn team in one of the hottest contested rivalry games of the year. 2 losses and a cupcake. That's not a top 10 team. Well, I can tell you that no team is in their best form. How do you explain Indiana against Penn State? No team is in their best form for 4 months. That's just not the way the game is played. How do you explain Oregon in the playoff last year, right? Like, I think, in my opinion, from what I've seen in college football this year, I think 8 of these 12 teams belong in the playoff. I think 8 of these 12 teams belong in the playoff. And I think that when I look at, and 8's probably strong, right? When we look at, Oregon belongs in. Texas Tech belongs in. Bama, Oklahoma, Indiana belong in. Georgia belongs in. Ohio State belongs in. And Ole Miss belongs in. I don't necessarily believe that Texas A&M is one of the 10 best teams in the country. I know that's inflammatory. Trust me. I don't believe that Texas A&M is one of the 10 best teams in the country. I think that's very much up for discussion. And I think Miami has a chance to beat them. A real chance to beat them. I love Jake Retzloff, and I think that's a great storyline. I don't care if Tulane's in or out. I don't believe that they should be in. Tulane isn't one of the 5,000 best. That's probably next. They're not one of the. You're wasting a slot. JMU, you're wasting a slot. I am not a participation trophy guy, and I know that G5s hate me for that, and I'd rather see Boise in here than JMU. That win. I'd rather see UNLV in here. I just give me a better football team. And with all due respect, I don't think the G5 belongs in this conversation. You're not going to. You look at these top 4 teams, you don't have a chance. You don't have a chance. And again, I took a lot of heat from Tech fans over the weekend because I still look at Baron Morton. And go look at my timeline. Go look at my Twitter timeline. Look how many Tech fans are like, I told you Martin was the goods. No, he's not the goods.
No.
He's not the goods. You guys understand that 17% of his throws should have been intercepted against BYU. 17% of his throws in one game should have been intercepted. And you want to tell me he's the goods. And I'll just keep saying this. Baron Morton is a great quarterback when Abilene's in town. But I'm going to warn you. And if it goes bad, you'll all say, oh, well, Monty, the bye week. And if Oregon shows up in Lubbock, and it won't be in Lubbock, obviously, but if Oregon shows up, dude, you're going to lose to Oregon because Oregon's going to be ready. And Oregon this year, here's the tough part. I'll say it out loud. Oregon's not going to sleep for a bye week. That's the part you don't want to talk about because Oregon's going to be ready. And my feeling is that when JMU rolls up to Autzen Stadium, when it's at the 20th, I think it's the 20th at Autzen, good luck. Because I think Dan Lanning's coming for your neck. And as he should. And then when you get to the Orange Bowl and it's Dan Lanning and Texas Tech at the Orange Bowl, I would much prefer to be Dan Lanning because he's going to be healthier, that team. They should have their best receiver and tight ends back. They've got the best. Sadiq is the best tight end in the country. Finally, I'm not the only one saying that.
And they have an assload of confidence now that they got past the first round, whether it's JMU or not.
And Baron Morton is, in my opinion, just what I say about Bear Bachmeier. Baron Morton is the ceiling for Texas Tech. And his 20 of 33 for 215 and 2 touchdowns is not impressive. It's not impressive.
Because it's garbage.
You look at his biggest games, is putting 310 and 3 scores on West Virginia, that impressive? Is 464 yards against Oregon State, that impressive? Is 345 at Houston, that impressive? I'm not the guy that's going to sit here and tell you it's all going to be okay, Tech fan, because it's not going to be okay. Baron Morton, if you're a Tech fan, you have one of the best defenses in all of college football. And you know what should really scare you? That your offensive line couldn't move BYU's defensive line as it did the previous matchup. Now, your defensive line, that front four, especially as the game crawled on, Tech's front four dominated, as you would expect, because I still want my daughter to marry Romello Height. I don't have a daughter, so Jake, you're going to have to fill in. But
Yeah, we're not making any changes.
I'm a huge fan of Romello Height. Like, I look at Baron Morton, and I agree that Baron Morton doesn't have to win the Heisman Trophy every week. But if you throw those balls that he threw against BYU, against Oregon, you're going to lose by multiple scores. Because that defense, it's a really good defense, but you can't keep stringing them out the way you've strung them out.
Yeah, well, and I think, the thing when you're playing the Oregon that we've seen, and this is for worse or for better with Oregon, right? The teams that can really run it and embrace that and, try to out physical Oregon, you either have the goods or you don't, right? You're either going to be able to push them around or you're not. And that's going to be something that we have to watch in that matchup. But I think, zone, their complex disguise pre-snap, specifically when they go into a zone, terrifies me for Baron Morton. That's the thing where I'm like, hey, yeah, 17% of those should have been intercepted against BYU. What is that, 25% against Oregon? If they're not intercepted, that's scary.
Yeah, I am. I hate this matchup for Tech. I do. And I hope he should be a lot healthier. It's 3 weeks or whatever that is away now. Should be a lot healthier. So the Chad Carter. Honestly, well done, Notre Dame. Extreme times call for extreme measures. Make it common to reject non-college football playoff postseason games. Yeah, that's a slippery slope. And you really need the practices. There's this, I think people will fail to understand this whole thing about non-leverage football games. And I understand that people want to do this thing where Notre Dame's a poor sport and a loser, bad loser. Okay, cool. How many NFL guys you have on that team? How legitimately look at all of the dudes. A dozen of their guys will get drafted. Look at all the NFL dudes. Do you think they want to play in a game of zero consequence? Do you think they want to play in a game of zero leverage? No, they don't. No, they don't. And it's not take your ball and go home. It is take my millions and go to the NFL. Because that's immediately what happens. And this is the thing that we do is we don't want to empathize with the football player. We just want them to heal from their concussions and come back and do more. And that might seem extreme, but it's the truth. You don't want to hear that their best talent. You think Jeremiah Love wants to go play whoever in the whatever? No, he's getting ready to go A, to the Heisman Award ceremony, and B, to the NFL draft. There's no upside for Notre Dame to play in the Pop-Tart Bowl or like Notre Dame idiot on Twitter and for the Deseret News writing, oh, they hate the Mormons. That's why. You literally have a guy in a newspaper in Salt Lake City writing a column saying it's anti-Mormonism and Notre Dame hates the Mormons.
Man, that must be it, dude.
Sell your clicks, my guy. You do you. Pander to the church. Pander to BYU fan. Notre Dame doesn't want to play a game of zero leverage. Because they've got NFL dudes at every position pretty much. I am certain that's why they don't want to play that game. I think Marcus Freeman, if he had his way, he'd like the 18 practices. He'd like the travel for his freshmen. But this idea that their seniors are being victimized, no, they're not. They get to sign with an agent much sooner. They're going to stop going to school. They're not going back after the holiday. And they're going to start hitting weights and speed and because they're going to the NFL. They're getting ready for the combine. They're getting ready for pro day. That's all they care about. Oh, and they get their payday sooner. So we can sit here and we can fantasize about, oh, Monty, okay, cool. I don't get it. Only you're the one who won't empathize with the player. So this idea that somehow Notre Dame took their ball and went home. They didn't take their ball and go home. They took their bag and went to the draft. That's where they went. College needs to go NFL model, 8-team conferences, 2 teams in each, no committee, 16 playoff teams, all on the field. Listen, Tone.
Hey, Tone.
We need a Super League. That's what this is. You gotta take the opinions out of it. Because this is, I thought Jabba the fat ass was the worst playoff committee we had ever seen.
Fat?
Jabba the manual. I thought that was as bad as it was ever going to get. Screwing Ohio State into the greatest college football playoff run we have ever seen. I thought that was as low as it would ever get.
You ain't going to try me then.
Oh, and then this committee outdid him. How did you outdo Jabba the manual? You did. This is really bad. And it's no longer, well, Monty, everybody's talking college football, so it's really good. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because you don't know at this point, other than going undefeated and winning your conference championship, because now being a one-loss non-conference champion doesn't do you any good. Other than going undefeated and winning your conference championship, can you guarantee yourself a spot in the college football playoff? No. Oh, Notre Dame needs to join a conference. BYU needs to join a conference. Okay, BYU joined a conference, lost a game, and then lost a conference championship, and they're still sitting on their ass at home. Well, it wouldn't happen in Alabama. How do you know? Well, because it's Alabama, Monty, and ESPN wants them in. Yeah, how did that work out for the SEC? Quite well this year, I would agree. How did it work out last year when they got left out?
Roll Tide!
You have to go undefeated and win your conference championship. That's the only way you're guaranteed a spot in the college football playoff. You can go to 16, but then what about 17 and 18? You can go to 560 million. What about 560 million in 1 and 2? somebody's always going to be on hype. That's who we are as sports fans.
I will say to that point, because I agree with it, at least in a 16-team model, you're reaching further down the talent pool. So it becomes easier to say, well, here's why you're out, right? I mean, if you're, you look at,
Yes.
I mean, you look at like look at the AP, right? You look at the AP, okay, you got SC there at 16, the Utes at 15, but you start to reach in teams like Michigan and Virginia. Okay. We have a pretty good reason as to why you're not getting into the top, 16 there, bro. We can say why Georgia Tech's not a top 16 team. I think that's part of what's hard with the 12-team model is that, teams like Vanderbilt and Texas and Utah, in this model, there's no room for them, but in an expanded format, then there's just more wiggle room the more teams you put in. But I am fully in agreement that there needs to be a solution for the group of 6, and there needs to be an NFL model rolled out for the power conferences. It's just that simple.
And it is why Greg Sankey's been fighting for that. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Aaron Wilson, the resident Texas Tech. Pew, 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 pew. Rack 'em, boy. Howdy, West Texas. Wrecked him. We damn near killed him. Grats BYU on a great season. Shame on the no CFP berth. Raider power. Let's fucking go, boys. We did it. Champions. Great year. I mean, Joey McGuire did it. Joey McGuire and his millions of dollars did it. And it is now, in my opinion, the non-SEC blueprint. And it's what Ohio State's been doing for years. It's what, when you look at Sig and what they did at Indiana, it's what he did. Go buy the best talent. Go get the best available quarterback. Right? I mean, that's what it. Here's my question: who's the quarterback of Tech next year? Right? Like that's what
better be someone better.
Now the bar, because what happens now? We won the college football playoff berth because we won the conference. Now we need to beat Oregon, focus on Oregon, and then we can talk about it. But I think it's really interesting when you look at how much progress this team made from a 0 blitz against Wyoming to handling BYU not once but twice in a season and dominating this league without, in my opinion, an elite quarterback. That's a hell of a coaching job by Joey McGuire.
Yeah.
I don't know how else you say it. And Texas Tech is now the model for how you build a championship football team in a non-SEC environment. Because you're not going to get what LSU's got unless you pay for it. And they did, and look where it got them. Right? And you look at, like, I again, just chatting with our friends in Las Vegas today. UNLV, while not being able to win on the Smurf turf, UNLV did a huge deal today that is going to make them more money again. UNLV just keeps doing brand deals. That they have this Acesso Biologics that is an $11 million deal.
Biologics.
For jersey patches across their sports.
Biologics.
And Boyd Family Gaming giving them, I don't remember how much money it was now. It was a couple of weeks ago, I think, or a month ago, where they gave them a huge donation to build their nutrition infrastructure in their athletic department. That you can see what the model is now. You can see what the model is. And Aaron Wilson, damn right, dude. Live today, because as Oregon knows, man, it's going to be really tough when you get to the college football playoff. It's going to be really tough. Let's get some of your comments in here. D-Rock, hello. I think the non-Irish fan here are more lathered up here, laughable. Well, and I think the Irish haters are out today, which I'm fine with, man. I'm fine with it, D-Rock. You know how it is. Being an Irish fan, we get a lot of hate, dude. We get a lot of hate. Jay McClanahan, hello. Texas Tech gets a great QB next year. Game over. Dude, they'll go undefeated. They will. If this team had a Mendoza-type passer, forget it. If you had a guy that was... is Big 12 going to lose both Rocco and Levitt? Probably, Mike. That's a great question. I think Dallin Levitt is going to take his brother and try for much greener pastures, which would be the SEC. So, yeah. Jim Choi, Indiana ain't got bunch of 4- and 5-star transfers. No, but they have an elite quarterback and a really, really physical defense. You don't win games without their quarterback.
Why are you, as a Michigan fan, commenting on Indiana? Shouldn't you be commenting on?
I'm a Michigan fan.
I'm pretty sure Jim's a Michigan fan. Yeah.
Could not tell you. Do not know. I mean, Fernando Mendoza was awkward after the game.
It sounds so beautiful. I want to give all the glory to God. We were never supposed to be in this position, but by the glory of God, the great coaches, great teammates, everyone we have around us, we were able to pull this off. Whoever thought the Hoosiers would be here, but now the Hoosiers are flipping champs. Let's go.
Jesus, little baby Jesus, help me throw that ball down the field, mama. Little baby Jesus.
In God's name, image, and
Hey, brother.
And he grabbed the receiver's hands to catch his own balls. Jesus is a ball catching fool.
God bless.
Hey, voice crack much, bro?
Well, he went through puberty in that moment. It's a beautiful, he became from a boy to a man under Signetti.
Do you know what that's like these days?
I just love it. Jesus Christ. Bro.
Whatever.